Okay, tonight, thank you, Hollis, and welcome everybody. Tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit about the art of report writing. It is kind of an art when you think about it, because we walk a tight line about what we put in and how we put it in, but that's all going to get covered up briefly. Now, this is a a typical 2-hour presentation, but tonight we're going to talk about 15 to 20 minutes. So a lot of it's going to be blown through really fast, or it's not going to be part of this at all because of the time restraint. But what I want to cover tonight is pretty much the highlights of the 2 hours, which is what we put in our reports, what we should put in our reports, and a look at content. So why do we do what we do? Well, we all like inspecting houses. It's fun, challenging, and we're all really good at seeing things that mere mortals can't. The show and tell with our clients is rewarding, and the appreciation they feel at the end of the process gives us real job satisfaction. But most of us don't get the same high from writing reports. And the reason for that is because, well, there are several reasons. Most of us are not trained or experienced as writers. Conveying what we see, in other words, our thoughts, into describable words. We tend to rely on canned phrases that are generic at best. Writing doesn't include tools such as tone of voice, hand gestures, which we all use, further clarification if it needs to be done, our body language, our facial expressions, the affect we project, for example, or answering questions. How do you answer questions once the report's written? You can't do it. Oh, sure. We're going to explain all that at the end during our summarizing. Unfortunately, most people will forget 50% of what they are told within the first 7 to 10 days. And within a month, they will have forgotten 90% of what you told them. Written reports, on the other hand, writing reports, on the other hand, is hard because we have to take complex technical issues and make them easy to understand. In other words, we should be writing at about a 5th grade level, which is the same level that news reporters and newspapers use when they convey the information they want to convey. Here's an example of some phraseology taken from an actual report. There are a plethora of areas around the property that show a dearth of sustentation. Anybody understand what that means? Well, plethora means many, dearth means lack of, and sustentation means maintenance. So why don't we rewrite this statement in our report to say this: there are many areas around the property that show a lack of maintenance. Doesn't that make more sense? And to top it off, we like to use contractions, abbreviations, acronyms, and terms we make up when we have to. We assume our clients will know what they all mean, but they don't. Or we're going to explain it somewhere else in the report, which is going to make them work to try to find that definition someplace. And that's going to be work they don't want to do. Then they shouldn't have to. In addition, the report is permanent record. Writing is more intimidating than speaking. Some of you may disagree with that. Some people think public speaking is intimidating. Well, it's all a matter of perspective. When writing a report, you don't get the feedback that allows you to clarify or reword an explanation. You get one chance to get it right. Once it's out in the universe, for better or worse, it is what it is. How many of you sent a phone text as a joke or a comment on something and had it misinterpreted? No amount of emotion, no amount of emoticons are going to take the place of a person's face and voice. Texting works with kids because it communicates on a whole other level. In business, not so much. We should be writing our reports with that in mind. What would home inspectors like to report to the clients? Dear Mr. and Mrs. Homebuyer, what I told you just now is pretty much it, but we don't guarantee anything. The big item is the roof, and there are a bunch of little things. Get specialists to check every part of the house, especially the roof, before you close. Remember, houses aren't perfect, so there will be problems that come up when you move in. Sincerely yours, the inspector. What do home buyers want home inspectors to tell them? Mr. Home Inspector, This system or component is and will be working perfectly now and under all conditions. I will get another 5 years use, and when a repair is due, it will only cost me $250 tops, at which time I will get another 5 years before replacing it. You'll give me the name and phone number of someone who will replace it at a discount and offer a lifetime warranty. Sincerely yours, the home buyer. Kind of at odds with each other, isn't it? How much should we include? It depends. Do the clients want a bottom line answer? Buy the house, don't buy the house, or are they moved in already? They might want to have a different approach at that point. Is there a problem? When there's a problem, they're going to go back to the report and try to find out if it was covered or not. Buy or don't buy, which can be accomplished in the summary if that's all they want to know about. It's quick and fast, and it gives them enough information to make a decision about whether they want to walk away. They moved in, then they go to the report body, because that's going to be more detailed and have more information in it. Is there a problem? That's the reference material. 3 layers with 1 report. The first layer, the summary, gets right to the bottom line. The second layer, the report, tells them the issues and what to do about them. The third layer gives details and reference sources for more information and who to hire, perhaps. I know we all use a summary. Clients want it, 96%. I'll explain what that means in a minute. And the agents want it. Real estate agents love summaries because it saves them a lot of time and they get right to the meat and potatoes of the problem. It should not, however, be a standalone description of what's in the report. Summaries are just that. They summarize. To minimize liability, it should be clear in your report that the executive summary, which is what I call it, may or may not be inclusive of all defects, repairs, or suggestions. Please review the complete report for all pertinent information. That's a CYA thing, by the way. You should use it in all your reports because it covers the stuff you might have missed. Carson Dunlop surveyed 3,500 former home inspectors and received 350 responses to those surveys. The survey asked the home buyer what they wanted to see in a typical home inspection report. These are the results. 96% wanted to see in a summary. 98% said headings help them navigate the report. 99% wanted to be told why something was important. In other words, you're going to prioritize it. And 88% wanted a short report with available references. 97% wanted the inspector to tell them what to do. That's kind of a loaded statement right there. You got to be careful what you say when you're approaching it with that in mind. 98% wanted the information prioritized. Of course, we covered that already. 92% liked the illustrations. For those of you who like to use illustrations, a picture is equivalent to 1,000 words, for example. 87% like photos. I thought that was kind of low for photos because everybody uses photos and they're popular with everybody. But that didn't get the 90% rating that the others did. And of course, 93% wanted cost included. Some inspectors include that, some don't. It's a matter of a business decision. Home buyers want the message short, clear, and to the point. On the other hand, neither the inspector nor the report can think for the client. And I've learned this lessons, folks, from the School of Hard Knocks, and I've learned not to do it again. The report can provide quality information to assist the client in making an informed decision. Ultimately, however, the client must make their own decision. A lot of people don't like to make decisions. They want somebody else to do it for them. Don't be that person. Help them out as much as you can, but the final choice is up to them to make. So what is a home inspection? Have anyone ever stopped to think about what it is we do? A business with a logically high liability, slim profit margins, and limited economics of scale. An incredibly diverse, multidisciplined consulting service delivered under difficult field conditions before a highly stressed and hostile audience with differing interests in an impossible short time frame, requiring the production of an extraordinarily detailed technical report almost instantly without benefit of research facilities or resources. We do a lot for the amount of money we charge and the time frame we do it in. No other profession delivers their knowledge or professional opinion under these circumstances. Architects don't, engineers don't, no one does.
And I'm unmuted. Yeah, I'm unmuted. All right.
So what goes into the written report? The written report is kind of a work of art, let's say. We have art and science. Art is in being in neutral. You should always be neutral in the right reports. Don't favor one side or the other, one thing or the other. Report the facts and what they need to do about it. And of course, the science we use and technology, those are all the tools that have come down the pike since this industry was created, and how it helps us make more finite decisions and statements that are clear. Objective, as in being fair and balanced. Realistic, as in telling it the way it is. Don't pull your punches. Accurate in what we report, informative in helping our clients make an informed decision. All that stuff goes into the report. It's relatively complicated, but it gets easier with practice. Think of what you do if you were a news person writing an article on a subject that would be interesting to people who want to read. The formula they use is who, what, why, where, and how. Those are the formulas that go into most articles that are written, whether it's newspaper articles or streaming or anything like that. They all cover those items because that's what makes it interesting. Well, we have a similar situation in our profession, and I call it the 5-point form. And I use this all the time when I inspect. First, I want to identify the issue if there is one, which is going to be the defect, the problem, the issue. And then I want to locate where it is unless it's obvious. If it's in the main service panel, I'm not going to pinpoint where the panel is unless it's hidden someplace, because most people are going to know where to look for that. But you want to, if it's a complicated location, then explain where it is. Describe the issue, the severity of it. In other words, you want to prioritize it. Is it serious? Is it not so serious? Is it cosmetic? Put it in a category so they know how to handle it. Explain what you're doing, what it is, in the context. What does it mean to them? Are they going to spend a lot of money to fix it? Not going to spend no money to fix it? Put it in context. And then 5, recommend what needs to be done. Do they need to get a specialist? Can they handle it by having a handyman come out and clean the gutters? I mean, whatever. Give it the weight it deserves. The previous steps are strictly a subjective choice. You can use any kind of approach you want as long as you're consistent. Consequently, your choices should be clearly defined in your report. Be consistent, phraseology, be consistent. Always write what you say and say what you write. Instead of saying, this is stupid, or geez, look at that mess. Say, for increased safety, I recommend the following. Or for optimum performance, I recommend the following, and then tell them what the following is. More phraseology. Don't assign responsibility, blame, or ownership to repairs. Instead of saying, that looks like a homeowner repair to me, how about, it appears to be a temporary repair, and I recommend the following. Instead of saying, the builder should have known better. I've actually made some of these statements, by the way, in real life, so I've learned from the hard way. How about this? The system may not operate as intended, or this installation does not appear to conform to minimum standards. Don't be emotional in your reporting. How you react to a situation reflects on you and impacts the client as well as others. Offhand comments can come back to haunt you. They also may cost you future business, because there are a lot of people listening to what you're saying, not necessarily just your clients. They may have relatives there with them. They may have real estate agents on both sides of the fence there. They may have total strangers there. You have no idea who shows up. I've had, 10, 15 people show up at some inspections. I have no idea who they all are. I'm concerned with my client, not everybody else. So be careful what you say in a group like that, because it gets interpreted differently depending on who's listening. Be neutral. Your clients, if you do the job right, your clients will have the tools needed to make an informed decision. That said, how can they in good conscience come back and blame you? You are in an excellent position to legally defend yourself if you have to. And thank you for your time. Any questions?
Okay, Mike, that was real helpful. Thanks a whole lot.
Mike, I thought that was really good tonight.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks,
Yeah,
Mike.
Mike, you might want to add in there when you're talking about the offhand comments that you should treat every inspection as though you're being filmed, because every house has a camera now. You got to be careful.
That's a good point. I never thought of that, but you're right. You're on there's no privacy anymore. You're on camera just about everywhere you go these days.
Yep.
Don't be peeing in the bushes.